Dear students, welcome to the third semester. Today we start with the first course of your third semester with the course name Strategic Management. Course code is 301. It has 3 credits and the course Strategic Management is very important in terms of learning and its application in the organization with respect to day-to-day activities as well as long-term planning which the company intend to implement. Let us try to understand this course. I have tried to connect the introduction to the course through an epic which is Mahabharata. Dear students, there is a saying that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. This quote has a very strong implications for strategic management. The history of strategic management can be traced back several thousand years. Great wisdom about strategy can be acquired by undertaking the past, but ignoring the lessons of history can lead to costly strategic mistakes that could have been avoided. Certainly, the present offers very important lessons. Businesses can gain knowledge about what strategies do and do not work by studying the current actions of the business. In this context, let us look and have deep dive into the learnings of Mahabharata related to an introduction to my course of strategic management. Mahabharata, written in 3000 BC, gives lot of insights not only about a winning strategy but also on leadership. In the present context, let us try to understand Mahabharata with respect to four broader aspects initially. Aspects are logistics, generals, result of the war, and duration of war. When we talk about logistics, Kauravas has 11 Akshoni army while Pandavas has 7 Akshona army. Now if you look into the details, one Akshoni is equal to 21,870 chariots, 21,780 elephants, 65,610 horses, and 1,09,350 foot soldiers. If you look at the logistics, Kauravas stand absolutely stronger as compared to Pandavas. Similarly, if you look at the other aspects which we tried to look into in the first slide was related to the generals. Kauravas were having generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Shalya, Kripacharya, Ashwadhama, and Duryodhan. Similarly, Pandavas also had the generals like Arjun, Bhishma, Dushramaya, Abhimanyu, Ghatokach, Shikhandi, and Satyaki. These are the journals which were intended to both the sides. Regarding the war lasted for 18 days and the results everyone is aware of. So, from this concept of 4 points on which we try to analyze, let us try to understand what are the lessons which we can learn from Mahabharata in context to strategic management. The first lesson which we can analyze is turn your weaknesses into your strength. Very important in context to strategic management also. Preparation, if you look at the context to Kauravas, Karna went on a countrywide military mission, subdued the different kingdoms and acquired wealth, but it meant a loss in terms of both men and money and creation of new enemies. Vice versa, if you look at Pandavas, through an exile they turned their attention to improve over their weakness. Arjuna set out a mission to acquire Divya Yastras. Similarly, Bhima met his brother Hanuman and got a blessings of enhanced strength. Yudhishthir acquired teachings from various wise rishis and also learned the game of dice. Lest he was challenged to yet another dice game, he said that he had become undefeatable in the game of dice. In the present context, if you correlate this with Mahabharata, our strategic management will teach us various tools like SWOT analysis, where we will try to analyze what are the strength, weakness, and opportunity threat profile for the organization under study, which can be achieved through two different aspects, which we are going to have a detailed study named as ETOP, which is environmental threat opportunity profile, where I get to know opportunities, and SAAP, that is strategic advantage product, which will help me to know what are my weaknesses. And working on that, similarly I need to implement in my strategy that how I can turn my weaknesses into strength. Similarly, we move to lesson number 2 and let us try to understand what it talks about. Lesson 2 from Mahabharata teaches that make powerful allies. That means if you look from the Kauravas' perspective, they adopted a centralized power system, the greatest empire of the time, but not many powerful allies except from old relation from far off places were there with Kauravas. But with Pandavas there is no wealth, no power of their own, but powerful allies all over the country. This was achieved by various activities they carried out and which made Pandavas more stronger than that of Kauravas. In strategic management, we can learn that, and we will try to analyze that when we deep dive into the codes, that we need to look into how to convert weaknesses to strengths and synergize. Moving forward, let us try to analyze what is the third lesson which we can study from Mahabharata and can be connected to strategic management. Lesson 3 talks about share your responsibilities. I will put that in terms of leadership. Kauravas has a centralized leadership, one head of army at a time who was supreme authority of 11 Akshani of army. Pandavas has distributed leadership. There were several commanders for the 7 division, one man commanded one Akshani each. Here, if you try to analyze the management concept of centralization, delegation of authority, accountability has been into picture, which has made us to understand that how it can be beneficial if you share your responsibilities. In strategic management context, if you want to implement a strategy, it is but natural to understand how you are going to get the task completed in terms of implementation of strategy at top level, middle level, and bottom level. So sharing of responsibility will play a very important role. Moving forward towards the fourth lesson which can be learned from Mahabharata is teamwork succeeds where individual efforts fail. That could be rightly applicable when we talk about the strategy which is implemented by the company. Let us try to understand from the epic. If you take an example in terms of team spirit, Kauravas there was no team spirit and they all fought their individual wars. Bhishma for his vow to protect the throne Hastinapur, Drona and Kripa they owed allegiance to the throne. Shalya, simply cheated by Duryodhana to be there, was originally a Pandava ally. Karna, to prove his mental against Arjuna, friendship for Duryodhana. There was no team spirit reflected. They didn't get well with each other. Bhishma and Karna, Bhishma and Shakuni, Karna and Shakuni, Karna and Shalya, Shalya and Bhishma. It was like bees, hornets, and mosquitoes put together in a jar. Whereas Pandavas had one team, one goal. As men, they had huge respect for Krishna and Yudhishthira, while as a warrior, they were in complete awe of Bhima and Arjuna. Most of them were close relatives, cousins, brother in laws, father in laws, more than that, they were all part of a decision making process. That means it was there a common war coming into picture. This I can get connected to the strategic management is, let us have an organizational structure developed wherein the protocol is there with respect to who is to report to whom and what are the responsibilities assigned to a particular role in the organization to follow. Similarly, we move to point lesson 5, which we learn from the Mahabharata in context to strategic management. The lesson 5 states, right team is made by selecting the right individuals, get the right man for the right job. Here individual motives will play a very important role. Kauravas, except for Duryodhana, nobody wanted the war. All the four main generals had very strong ties with Pandavas. Bhishma, grandchildren, won't kill the Pandavas, will kill 1,000 soldiers each day. Drona, student, won't kill the Pandavas, will capture them only. Shalya, Nakula, Shadeva's maternal uncle, loved the Pandava and courteously helped them by humiliating Karna. Karna, brother to Pandavas, promised not to kill any of the other Pandavas save Arjuna. Similarly, in Pandavas, it was a team of traitors. Common goal, but the individuals had their own individual targets, their own agenda, which just became one with the team's agenda. Here, it clearly talked about that team will bring success, individual efforts will lead to the success of team. That is what we can analyze and can also be related to the strategic management also. For effective implementation of strategy, every individual has a role to play. If that role is played in a right way, very clearly whatever is to be achieved through strategy can be done by the organization in that context. Lesson 6 related to Mahabharata can say that the best man for the job is not the one with the best capabilities, but one with the greatest commitment. Kauravas already said the big four and has a big emotional attachment with 5 Pandavas. Looking further on their commitment, Bhishma himself gave away the secret of killing him to the Pandavas. He prolonged the war by killing only inconsequential soldiers. He did not fight a war like Shikhandi because of his personal bias. Drona too indirectly gave away his secret by saying he was invulnerable as long as he held a weapon. Moreover, he abandoned weapons as soon as he knew his son has died. Karna did not kill Yudhishthira and Bhima when he got the chance. He gave away his kavach and kundal prior to his war. Karna fled numerous times from the war when he was hurt. He didn't save Dushasana when Bhima was killing him. Shalya kept on insulting Karna while in battle. But if you look at Pandavas, you will try to analyze that Abhimanyu, a 16-year-old kid, ventured beyond the enemy lines alone. Though This was a suicidal mission, but he still went in and took a great part of the army down with him. It took the combined efforts of 7 Marathis to take him down. Ghatotkacha, even in death, took with him almost half the army. Yudhishthira, he knew he couldn't face Karna in war, but still went in to set an example. Yudhishthira didn't hesitate to tell a lie or a twisted truth when faced with the decision of whether to stick to his personal integrity or welfare of the team. Krishna took up arms twice and almost entered the war in spite of his promise, only to be stopped by Arjuna. That means here we should analyze an important role of a strategic manager, and in business organization we call them as Chief Executive Officer (CEO) or Chief Operating Officer (COO) or MD Managing Directors, or maybe General Manager, to whom various department reports and the strategy is implemented accordingly. Similarly, we need to look into the important learning as from Mahabharata. The seventh learning says, lesson 7th is related to the great managers are to inspire, invigorate, counsel in crisis. This is very well a role played by Krishna, the greatest crisis manager the world has seen. Yudhishthira, low-key strategist. On the first day of the war, he played a master game, went over to the enemy's side to seek blessing from elders. In reality, he made a covert deal with them, wherein all of them agreed to help him and unfolded the secrets of defeating them. While coming back, he took a calculated risk. He made an offer to all the assembled people to change sides if they wanted to. He knew well of the lack of cohesiveness among the Kauravas. This exposed the weakness of Kauravas for all to see. What does it means in case of strategic management is keep crisis manager who will have a continuous watch on the environment, both internal as well as external. Internal, they can have a control. External, they may not have control, but is going to have an effect on the strategy implemented, or if we are trying or thinking to implement in future. Similarly, the lesson 8 per se from Mahabharata talks about knowing ground reality. I will put it into a very simple words of understanding the facts. Accept different ideologies. Cooperate. That is what we can learn an 8th lesson from Mahabharata. Kauravas, princes brought up in front of royal palace, matured on romanticized ideals of power, fame, courage and valor. No experience of ground reality. Whereas Pandavas spent the greater part of their lives in poverty, childhood in the Himalayan foothills among rishis, 1 year exile among the poor people of Kuru Panchala, 12 years of Vanvas and 1 year of Agyatwas. Experience with the ground reality, contact with people from various strata of the society, acharyas, household teachers, poor brahmans, lower class potter, different races of people, rakshasas, gandharvas, apsaras, nagas, people from different regions, Uttrakal, Bengal, etc. Which means they had a very strong sense of sharing and a sense of brotherhood. In current sense, in this concept of strategic management, I would like to put that in terms of fact. What does it says? That while we are aware of facts, please try to see that do not tamper the fact for your own benefit. Instead, use the facts without altering while deciding what strategy are we going to use. If facts are going to change, the effect, the way the strategy is supposed to work is also going to get affected. So in this case, it should be clearly understood that when we talk about the facts, facts needs to be continuously seen and it needs to be implemented as they are available. Any tampering of facts is going to affect the strategy, which is further going to affect the results and achievements of the company's targets which the company wish to achieve. With this lesson, it brings me to make you analyze what are the things which we are going to study in the course of strategic management. As you are very well aware that every course is divided into 5 units. We also have 5 units to be studied. If you look at course unit number 1, we will try to understand very basic about strategic management, wherein I will take you through the history of strategic management, how it evolved, how it worked at international level, how it came down to international level. Then we'll try to understand some few definitions given by renowned management gurus. What was their repercussion in the deeper sense? We'll try to look into. Then we move to the most important point, which is called as the VMOST, which is vision, mission, objective, strategy, and tactics. Apart from that, we will also try to analyze what is a strategic management process. A bird's view. When I know what is the strategic management process, I will try to move into unit number 2, where we will try to analyze the external environment. And as I rightly said, the word external is something which is beyond your control, but definitely that is going to help me to analyze what are the opportunities and threats which are going to exist in the external environment. If I want to know what are those opportunities and threats, I would be in a great need to use certain tool which is called as Pestle framework, McKinsey 7S framework, Porter 5 forces framework, and at the end we'll try to analyze which is called as ETOP, environmental threat opportunity profile. Once we are acquainted with an external environment, we should always understand ourselves much better. Hence in unit 3 we are going to concentrate on internal environmental analysis, in which we will try to analyze some concepts like what is called as critical success factor, key performance indicator, resource based views, what are the types of resources, what is called as VRIO framework, what is value chain analysis, and then we are going to have a strategic advantage profile created from where we can easily analyze what are my strengths and weaknesses. In an organization, when you know strengths and weaknesses, I would be in a position to encash opportunities. If I am very well aware of my weaknesses, I may have a chance to convert my weakness into strength, and when my strengths are becoming stronger and stronger, definitely it will create an opportunity for the organization, or else it will lead into threat. What does it mean? That unit number 2 and 3 will help us to analyze a deeper understanding of an organization in terms of what are their strengths and what could be their weaknesses. An external environment, what are opportunities available for them, what are the threats available from them. Once this is clear, then we move to the next level, wherein we'll start creating a strategy. So when we need to create a strategy, we should know what are the different types of strategies available. For that, we will try to look into different types of strategies like generic competitive strategies, we have grand strategies, we have strategic alliances and turnaround strategy. Also we have a grand strategy matrix which we will try to analyze, which will help us to understand with respect to different parameters what type of strategy can an organization choose which would be beneficial for them if that is implemented in a right way. And the last part, or unit 5, will cover in broader sense, try to understand the strategic implementation and evaluation. In implementation, definitely we come across the barriers. Let us try to understand what are those barriers, and if there are barriers, what type of implementation changes would be required. So we'll try to analyze the structural implementation, the behavioral implementation. We'll also try to analyze different types of strategies, which is called as blue ocean strategy and a red ocean strategy. In a deeper sense, we'll try to look into what is the benefit of a blue ocean strategy and a red ocean strategy, and we'll look into an acronym which is called as VUCA. VUCA. V is volatility, U is uncertainty, C is complexity, and A is ambiguity. We'll try to understand these four words play a very important role in implementation of strategy. How can I implement a strategy? What does an organization need to do for a success after the strategy is implemented? If not successful, what and how is it going to affect an organization? What is the interconnection of strategy with respect to various aspects which we are going to study deeper into the strategic management? Dear students, with this, I suppose I have made you understand that strategic management is not a new concept. It is very well aware, established, very well used in epics, and Mahabharata is a classical example wherein we try to analyze how strategic management was used during that period, vice versa, how our curriculum has developed today to help us and make understand its context in the present sense. With this, I make myself introduce to you in terms of my course which I am going to teach, that is a course of strategic management. A happy learning. Thank you.